unless he's assassinated, I think will be the president, right? I think he's going to win the next election. What's my prediction model based on, which has been wrong one time in a big way, been very wrong at a one time. My prediction model up until 2020 was pretty much 90%, right? Then I said, I am convinced he's going to win the 2020 election. And he didn't, right? Well, I mean, I think he did, but I don't think he became president, right? Okay, so maybe, but my prediction model is all based on my insane belief in God, right? I think Donald Trump is a weirdly messianic figure in that he's very scuzzy, and oftentimes messianic figures give up an air. Although I think he's less scuzzy now than they used to. After all the looking into investigations and all that stuff, if they had dirt on him and him being scuzzy, man, would we know about it? And the fact we don't know about it means I don't think they do have any dirt on him, right? I really think that's what it means. I think it goes back to Abraham throwing Isaac over Ishmael. You're talking about the Israel-Palestine thing? Not really. It goes back. I'll tell you exactly what it goes to. That the you could be right with that, actually, a monk of magnesia. Absolutely, you could be right with it. Okay, it depends how you look at it. Right now, everything is being sparked off since 1947. Everything is being sparked off by the Dome of the Rock, right? The Al-Aqsa Mosque. Because Jewish tradition is that the Jewish temple, which the Holy Jewish Temple, was on that spot, right? And we believe there's going to be 3 of them. There's been 2, and we believe that eventually the Jews will be returned to the land of Israel, and at some point the monarchy will be restored, and they will rebuild their temple, which means knocking down the Dome of the Rock, right? So we've never made any moves to do that whatsoever, which I think is not the. Again, as a religious zealot, I think it probably would have been better for the world if we had, especially in '67, right? But that's essentially what it boils down. It's the Arab terror that the Jews have returned to the land. This is all subconscious. This is spiritually subconscious. Arab terror that Jews have returned to the land, which means their time is nearly up, right? That's essentially what I think is going on with the Israel-Palestine thing. And if you their basic claim of morality is the Nakba, right? The Nakba is 1948, the war to create the state of Israel, when the Jews won, right? Or at least the Jews weren't completely wiped out. We won quite a lot of territory. We lost quite a lot of territory, but we weren't wiped out, which is considered a victory. And I think the Arabs were embarrassed by that victory, so they made up bullcrap saying that, oh no, they were evil devil men who ate our babies, right? So that's essentially what it comes back to. Anyway, I digress, right? I think Trump is going to win the next election, and I think the reason he didn't, from a theological point of view, I'm not trying to convince you to think the way I am. I'm just trying to explain to you how weird stuff I think. That I think the whole function of the 2020 election, which I pretty much, which I firmly believe was stolen, I think the reason God allowed that to happen, right? And I think God allows everything to happen is to basically destroy this false worldview of the Hillary Clintons of the world. This false, and I would say evil worldview, right? Which, but if you want A/B the worldview, compare Haiti today to El Salvador. Right, Haiti, when Donald Trump said, well, apparently, allegedly said it's a shithole country. But now the leader of Haiti is called Barbecue. He got named Barbecue because he's a cannibal. Now, he doesn't eat people for sustenance. He only eats them to scare them. And let's say that works with me, right? That absolutely works with me. And there's actually video of him eating people, right? It is messed up, right? Haiti is a disaster zone, an absolute disaster. Now, they were in a very similar place to El Salvador at the time, the murder capital, I think, of the world. And then El Salvador voted in a Trump-esque president. And immediately the media said, he's a fascist, he's a dictator, he's the worstest ever. Now, El Salvador, and then he cracked down on the gangs. He made the state of emergency. He locked them all up. He treated them terribly. I'm on board for that. You treat bad people badly. You have to fight bad people. So, and now El Salvador is a freaking paradise. They link their economy to Bitcoin, which is now at an all-time high of $75,000 a Bitcoin. Man, that's crazy. If I could go back in time and buy like a couple of $100 worth in 2007, right? Whoa, what would that be worth? 1 second. Well, I say 2007. They're probably about 20 cents. Let's have a look. Let's do the math quickly. Hang on. We go. So let's say we'll say $200, right? 200. We're going to times that by 3, imagining they're about 30 cents a piece. So, now times that by 75,000. 45 million. $200 will be 45 million. Now, get yourself strong. But anyway, I firmly believe that Donald Trump will be president, and I don't think anything they can do will stop him. Why? They're fighting against God. I think it's similar to the Exodus. Now, what was the function of the Exodus? It was much more than just getting the Jews out of Egypt, which was 240 years earlier than they're supposed to leave. But what was it for? It was to destroy their evil theological idea of primarchy, of there always being somebody on top of you until you get to the king. Anyway, my point is this: they're in meltdown. They are in the elites, the arseholes are in meltdown, and they're terrified because they know it's going to happen, right? They know it's going to happen. Look at Robert De Niro.
Nothing redeemable in him. And we have to, and whoever the people are who want to vote.
Yeah, that means you are crazy.
For him. And there look like intelligent people around there. Somebody.
Here's the trouble, though. You can't have a conversation with this guy because he's out of his mind, right? And if you question any of his narratives, if you question any of them, they all fall apart instantly.
For some reason, it can't be. It cannot be.
It's going to be. It's going to be.
If he wins the election, you won't be on the show anymore. He'll come looking for me. They'll
Dude, you're an irrelevancy. That's the truth. And that's what you're terrified of. You're an irrelevancy.
There'll be things that happen that none of us can imagine.
What, you mean like under the during the Biden years, right? Like you tried to suppress the number one candidate for president, right, by bogusly removing him from the ballots, right? Nobody thought that would be, right? January 6th was almost certainly an inside job, right? So so the intelligence agencies can go after anybody who supported Trump. Can that be? What about the absolute death of jurisprudence, of any form of justice system in America, right? I'm sorry. Everything you said about Trump is true about Biden. You were wrong about everything with Trump.
That's what happens in that kind of a dictatorship, which is what he says. Let's believe him. Take him at his word.
I did from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I said from the.
I love the way they talk to each other like they're both sensible. Make sense. Well, I did from the beginning. What did he do? Name me one thing he's done that you don't like. I mean, and talk about it honestly.
Very beginning, this guy is never going to concede power, and he still hasn't.
No,
he still hasn't.
Yeah, because I think you stole the election, right? And I'm allowed to say that now on YouTube because you're going to lose the election, so they changed the rules early.
Admitted he lost the last election, and he advertises that he will go on. He says he's been cheated out of one term, so maybe we should get rid of a president only gets 2 terms thing.
Yeah. But again, the Trump duration syndrome. I'm finding it kind of sweet to watch them flail in terror. Look at Jimmy Kimmel, the safest person to host the Oscars, and yet triggered as anything.
Not about me, and I appreciate you having me.
Oh, you have to turn the sound up for this. Can I turn the sound up anymore? No, sorry, you have to turn your sound up on whatever device you're on.
Is really about you and Emma and all these great actors and actresses and filmmakers. But
by the way, he doesn't do blackface anymore. He used to do blackface. Well, why didn't he do blackface anymore, Jimmy?
I was told we have like an extra minute, and I'm really proud of something. I was wondering if I could share it with you.
I mean, again, schmuck that he is, he's about to give Donald Trump pure gold.
Got a review, and has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I'm agreeing with the Trumpster on this review, right? It's not like you're doing so well, mate.
Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopanopoulos.
Oh, we'll talk about him in a minute.
He would make everybody on stage look bigger, stronger, and more glamorous. Blah, blah, blah. Make America great again.
Oh, it's so funny! It's so funny! Oh, we couldn't give a shit about any. We hate poor people. Oh, it's like we like to think we're virgins. Oh, it's so funny. He's gonna be your president, you cunts. He's gonna be your president, and your movies don't make any money. Fuck you.
Right now, see if you can guess which former president just posted that on Truth Social.
It's actually the future president.
Anyone? No? Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still... Isn't it past your jail time?
Yeah, referencing corrupt judges and corrupt courts doesn't really make you look better. Makes it look like you're one of the Hunger Games. God, look at these fucks. Ah, he made a joke about Donald Trump. Ah, really? Darling, it was boring in 2020. Oh, and your movie looked like shit, and I don't think any sane person would watch it. Although, is that what's his name? Thor behind it? Is that what's his name? I can't remember the name. It looks like he's getting a hand job though, with that expression. And look, the girl in black next to him looking down. Yeah, he's getting a handy. I love that they're laughing like he said something shocking. Oh, I made a joke about Donald Trump.
Focused on the important stuff for sure. Before we give out the final...
Yeah, not you. However, amazingly, John Cena, who I thought was a bit of a massive pussy, came out at the Oscars and made a very strong political statement. Let me see that again. Now, that's not really what happened. It's a meme. But a wonderful meme. A wonderful meme at that, right? There was actually quite a funny bit. He came out with the envelope over his dick, essentially saying, and here are the nominees for best costume, which I thought that was genuinely funny. What I didn't think was generally funny is this. This is disgusting. Trump mentioned George Stephanopoulos. This is with Nancy Grace, and she tears him apart.
And you've endorsed Donald Trump for president.
You evil cunt! You endorsed Donald Trump for president. He's going to be president.
Judges and two separate juries have found him liable for rape. And
yeah, they're completely corrupt and lying. What, George, mate? George, let me ask you. What was the most compelling piece of evidence that you heard, right? What was the most compelling piece of evidence you heard? None, because there was no evidence. They said the plot of an episode of Law and Order, right? The event essentially said the most famous person in the world, in the busiest city in the world, went into a busy shopping mall next to a hotel he owns, right? And went to, unobserved by any camera or human being, and went into a changing room, raped a woman, and then left, and no one noticed, right? So what was the most compelling piece of that evidence? Well, what do you like best, Georgie? Well, he goes in a different direction.
And for defaming the victim of that rape. How do you square your endorsement?
I mean, again, when somebody says I raped you and you didn't, people often say, no, I didn't. I don't think that's defamation anywhere other than if you're Donald Trump in New York.
That rape. How do you square your endorsement of Donald Trump with the testimony we just saw?
Well, I will tell you, I was raped at the age of 16. And
honestly, that's terrible. I had no idea.
Any rape victim will tell you, I've lived for 30 years with an incredible amount of shame over being raped. I didn't come forward because of that judgment and shame that I felt. And it's a shame that you will never feel, George. And I'm not going to sit here on your show and be asked a question meant to shame me about another.
That's exact. I'm glad she's calling this cunt out. I am so glad she's doing that.
A potential rape victim. I'm not gonna do that.
It's actually not about shaming you. It's a question about.
No. It was, George. We all see through you. You're a paper thin cunt.
You are shaming me.
You've endorsed Donald Trump for president.
Right.
Donald Trump has been found liable for rape by a jury.
Yeah, not guilty, liable.
Donald Trump has been found liable for defaming the victim of that rape by a jury. It's been affirmed by a judge.
It was not a criminal court case, number one. Number two, I live with shame. And you're asking me a question about my political choices, trying to shame me as a rape victim, and I find it disgusting. And quite frankly, E. Jean Carroll's comments when she did get the judgment, joking about what she was going to buy, it makes it harder for women to come forward when they make a mockery out of rape, when they joke about it.
Yes, George. Let's watch them squirm a little bit more.
Doesn't it make it harder for women to come forward when they...
It's going to make it harder when we lie like cunts all the time? Yeah, actually it will.
It makes it harder when other women joke about it, and she's joked about it. I find it offensive. And I also find it offensive that you're trying to shame me with this question.
I'm not trying to shame you
at
all. In fact,
I have dealt with this for 30 years. You know how hard it was to tell my story 5 years ago when they were doing a fetal heartbeat bill and there were no exceptions for rape, incest, or rape or incest in there? I had to tell my story because no other woman was coming forward. No rape victims were represented.
I'm just asking. I love it when they do that when you get them on the ropes, right? I'm just asking. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. There was a gotcha. And it blew up in your face, didn't it? You little Clinton cocksucking cunt.
And you're trying to shame me this morning.
I'm just asking.
And I find it offensive.
I'm just asking. No, you're not. No, you're not.
This is why women won't come forward.
Women won't come forward because they're defamed by those who perpetrate rape. Donald.
Yeah. No. They don't come forward because of lying cunts like you, mate. Right. And you just got slapped in the face.
They are judged and they're shamed, and you're trying to shame me this morning. I think it's disgusting.
I'm not shaming you at all.
I told my story. It took me 25 years to tell my story. I was judged for it. I still get judged for it today.
I'm asking you a very simple question.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're being a cunt. And we all know you're being a cunt. You know you're being a cunt. I know you're being a cunt. We all know you're being a cunt. You know how we all know you're being a cunt? Because you're a cunt. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.